What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the Nadeem X channel. I'm your host Hassan Nadeem, and today, nothing new y'all. We got some trippy videos to react to today. A lot of things been going on, as you know, so a lot of things to react to. If you like these type of videos, drop a like and drop a sub, and let's get straight into the video. Let's go.
What are some weird laws that you've experienced traveling the world?
So I think the famous one that everyone knows about is in Singapore, you cannot chew gum. So you'll never see anyone chewing gum, or if they are, they're breaking the law. I don't know if you'd actually go to prison. Maybe it's just a fine. But yeah, no chewing gum. They're very strict in Singapore, and that's why it's a very clean country. It's a weird law. In Turkmenistan, no black dogs are allowed.
Racist.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they specified black dogs, but that's the law. Again, this is a very strange one. In Switzerland, it's very particular law that you are not allowed to flush the toilet after 10 p.m. So if you go for a number 2 after 10:01, you better leave that baby in there because you cannot flush the toilet. So this is actually quite common, not just in Indonesia, but in other places where they have a traffic issue, is that they have to somehow stop some cars coming in. So in Jakarta, Indonesia, to stop the traffic issue, they have some days where they only allow cars with the ending number plate digit is a odd number, or some days is an even number. So it's purely luck of whether you have a odd or even number plate and you're allowed to drive.
So like on Monday it may only be like odd numbers, and then Tuesday even.
I guess it's the only way they could think of trying to reduce the traffic, because it's terrible there.
We have proof that the Red Sea crossing happened. Like proof, not just artifacts on the bottom. We had those. We had chariot wheels on the bottom of the Red Sea. We had all these cool little artifacts. But the coolest thing that I saw is the shoreline. If you've ever watched the Ten Commandments movie, they had that big pillar of fire that came down. That's mentioned in the Bible. This pillar of fire, I just pictured these flames coming down. But when you go to that shoreline where it's documented to happen, the entire shoreline is melted sand. And it takes about 3,000 degrees or more to melt that sand. And it's evenly melted. You can almost see like footprints. Wow. There's stones infused in this melted sand. This is amazing. You don't hear about it. If it was a proof of evolution, it would be in every single textbook.
Northern Israel's going to be nuked. It's in the Bible. I'm going to show it to you. Got your Geiger counter ready?
My Geiger counter.
So we're going to show you right in the Bible.
Dang!
What it has to say about the coming nukes.
That boy been practicing. He's been waiting for this moment his whole life, dog. Dang! He's really been recording himself, throwing it, and after that, reviewing the footage, being like, yo, I gotta make this better. Rehearse. Dang, bro, that was sick.
I wrote 2 passages of scripture down here on this piece of paper where I can read it. I can't read real small text, so I'll make it a little bigger, you see. Now, here is clear statements of coming nuclear destruction in northern Israel. And those of you young people right now, I don't doubt but what you'll live to see this. I'm 77, I think. I probably won't live to see it. I'll gather all nations against you. This is in Zechariah. I'll gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Now there's a lot more passage, but I'm just reading part of it to you. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand up on their feet. Their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongues shall consume away in their mouth. Now, this was written over 2.5 millennium ago. And it's describing a situation where before a soldier or a person can fall to the ground, their eyeballs completely burn out of their head and their tongue completely burns out of their mouth, all while they're standing on their feet. There's never been a time in the history of the world until the last 70 years that could take place, be 80 years. And now in Ezekiel chapter 39, it speaks of the same events again. He talks about coming destruction in northern Israel and the mountains there, coming down out of Lebanon. And he talks about an invading force of 5 nations along with Russia, names them. Those nations exist today. And he talks about the destruction will come on them, and he said it'll take 7 months for Israel to cleanse the land. It said after the end of 7 months shall they search for the bodies. Said they'll call out men of continual employment, and they'll go out to cleanse the land. And he said they'll actually create a city called Hamanoth in that area, and that city will be used as a headquarters for cleaning up northern Israel. And it said, thus shall they cleanse the land. So there's going to be an invasion, an attempted invasion of Israel by the nations, and there's going to be a destruction that is going to burn the eyes, tongue, while they stand on their feet. So that day is coming. It's not going to be a total annihilation of the world or anything, but just write it down in your book, get batteries in your Geiger counter, and get ready, because when Bible predicts it, it's going to happen. All right.
That's super interesting. I don't got a lot to say on that. I think he got it right on the dot. It's just crazy to think how the Bible just preconceives all these theories, not theories, but these events that are going to happen, prophecy. It's beautiful to see, honestly. I think it just reinforces and exercises your faith as a whole, which is pretty cool.
You and I have been lied to our entire lives. Everything
That's part 2, guys. It's part 2. Remember we watched part 1 on the last video? I said that we're going to watch her series because she has a bunch of videos. She has part 1, part 2, part 3. I don't even know until 10 or 14, dog. But we're going to watch the whole thing because she gets things right on the dot, and I really like her.
About in history class was at some point modified, fabricated, or manipulated in some way, shape, or form. When you make an effort to actually find the truth, find out what really happened, kind of plug in some holes, get some questions answered, it always leads you back to Christ. What you find will always confirm the Bible. It always goes back to the story of creation, and that's why the enemy has worked so hard and is working so hard to deceive us and always manipulate us. Today we're going to talk about Sodom and Gomorrah. We're going to go into the actual evidence that we have that this event did indeed happen, and it wasn't just a story from some book. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah originates in the book of Genesis. Now, it's during the time of Abraham and his nephew Lot, and these two cities, Sodom and Gomorrah, were so evil and so inundated with wickedness that the Lord was just done with them. He decided to rain down sulfur balls from heaven. This is the location of Sodom and Gomorrah. Over here is a more zoomed in picture. You'll see it's kind of right next to the Dead Sea. Here's the Mediterranean. Now, what archaeologists find when they go to this area is absolutely incredible. So underneath the top layers of soil, they find an ashy layer that covers the entire area. Under this ashy layer, they also find fragments of human bone, burnt fragments of human bone, and burnt pottery. What's even cooler is there's a cemetery in this area that holds about 500,000 people. And when archaeologists, when they go and they dig down, they find the same ashy layer that covers all of the graves. Not only that, the bones in the graves are warped from the heat. Now, this finding of the warped bones in the graves and the ashy layer that covers not only the surrounding area but the entire cemetery is confirmation to archaeologists that this was a natural occurring event. If this event was, let's say, from an invading army, they wouldn't have taken the time to go and burn an entire cemetery. There would be no threat, plus they would be just wasting resources. Now, the coolest part, the actual sulfur balls. These balls are almost pure sulfur. They burn instantly, and they are found all over this area, even down into the Dead Sea. He does light a couple to prove that they are flammable, and when he does, he says the smell is just so strong because these balls are almost 100% pure sulfur. They also have a museum near the archaeological site where you can visit, and they have some samples of the sulfur that rained down from heaven. And the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Early the next morning, Abraham got up and returned to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah, toward all the land of the plain, and he saw dense smoke rising from the land, like smoke from a furnace.
Wow. It's like you can't deny it, bro. It's like there's so much proof of the Bible where, like, if you're trying to consider which path to take, I don't like religion. I don't want to state religion because religion has such man-made customs that I do not like. But if you want to take a path, like the Bible has the most proof out of Islam, Buddha, all these other religions. The Bible's the way, bro. And like a lot of these things has been found. Like if you can just search up on the Google, like Bible artifacts, tons. You don't see a lot of Muhammad artifacts. You know what I mean? So the Bible's the way to go, dog.
Black horses, I mean, come on, y'all, pay attention. Y'all don't realize it now, but this is serious. Y'all better remember this name right here.
Selling gum is illegal, and the punishment is up to 2 years in prison or a fine. Is this true?
Yeah, it is true. I actually disagree with that because I like gum.
Yeah, gum is not allowed in Singapore.
Oh, really? Like you can't chew it?
You can't at all. Like you cannot even bring it into the country. Like I think people started sticking them on the train doors.
Oh, I see.
So like there was one time where it couldn't close.
Yeah, I mean this is something that I was warned when I first came here. Anyway, I'm not a big chewing gum fan anyway. But yeah, I mean it can cause so much of unnecessary hygiene issues. So, and I think most people can live without chewing gums.
I don't think a policeman will go up to a foreigner chewing gum and say, "You just committed a crime. I'm gonna slam a fine."
This is an opera building, okay? Who would have their opera in this stone building? This building, it says, itself cost $7.5 million in 1861. 1861. $7.5 million. It also has $10 million worth of furniture. That's what it says on the back of here. And they say, this is the best. It was founded, right here, founded on the back. Founded, right? They found it, is what they did, in 1671. So you're telling me in 1671, someone built a $7.5 million building out of stone with $10 million worth of furniture. In 1671, they had this building. And then in 1875, they turned it into a theater. So 200 years later, they're like, yeah, it'll be a $7.5 million theater. And it talks about the staircases. It talks about, how everything was made out of colored marble and Corinthian columns. There was a green room for ballet, and it was for the opera. The Paris city has been reset many times, over and over and over again. And same with the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower is an atmospheric energy antenna. There used to be an orb.
Guy was spitting. Damn. My guy just found like some crazy tunnels, dog. What the heck? The crazy thing is, if you know there's no graffiti, then you know that you're in the wrong place. I mean, like, you're not supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, get out. So, like, there's no graffiti there. You know, like, I don't know why, but if you're investigating like an abandoned building or something, if you walk for a certain amount of time and you see graffiti, there's like this ambiance of comfort, you know, that comes with graffiti in abandoned places. I don't know why.
Yo, this is so scary.
That is kind of creepy though. That looks far, man.
Yeah, no, I'm going back.
Yeah. The boogeyman just shows up. Ooh. Imagine though, that's a really far hallway. Imagine you just see some guy booking at it straight at you, some homeless guy. Like, that'd be so funny. I would laugh for like 10 seconds and start running, bro.
This video is going viral right now, and I'm not talking about this intro clip of the ice wall or Antarctica. I'm talking about a video from the 50s of Antarctica and them flying over it and seeing other
Unger leans forward in amazement. His eyes have caught a sudden and unbelievable change in scenery. The universal white has turned to chocolate brown, dotted with blue. A cameraman goes into action. 300 100 square miles of land without snow. Land that might be in New Mexico or Arizona. Pictures alone will prove Bunger has discovered a warm oasis in the shadow of the pole. It is for such supreme moments as this that men brave the hardships of exploration. The astounding, undreamed of fact is that they are over a chain of warm water lakes, whose shores, except for small patches, are free of ice and snow. Commander Bunger circles the largest lake in sight, 5 miles long. He comes in to make a landing. Water temperatures must be recorded. Samples taken. He finds the water fresh. Temperature 38 degrees Fahrenheit. On the shores are vast deposits of coal and of minerals of the utmost importance to civilization. Mountain ranges with peaks 20,000 feet above sea level.
The Grand Canyon is the real Giza Plateau. Look, this is what we mean when we say meltology. All of this area is desert because there was a motherboard meltdown. The Earth is a grid, a motherboard. It has melted down several times. This is from one of the most recent meltdowns. After Israel was divided within, it imploded and became open for attack. As you can see, all these people are Shemites. Edomites, Moabites, Ammonites are still all from Shem, even though they were supposedly enemies, like Ashur, who fathered the Assyrians, who were also enemies. So all Israelites are Shemites, but not all Shemites are Israelites. Since they didn't get along, civilization fell apart. Edom is synonymous with Mount Seir. Mount Whitney is Mount Seir in the Sierra Nevadas. Edom is Rome. Edom destroyed the temple, the Israelites dispersed, and order continued to decay. These are melted buildings. Obviously melted buildings. These so-called pueblos are remnants of a melted metropolis. The survivors of the meltdown found refuge in these pockets of survival. Egypt is Mitzrayim. That's where we're getting Mississippi or Mitsori. This is Hamite land that stretched all the way to the Grand Canyon in Sedona or Sidon. Moab is said to be east of the Dead Sea in the Bible. Moab, Utah is east of the Dead Sea. The Moabites are the Moors. Moab's mom was his sister. He was a product of inbreeding. So Edom, which is Rome, took Jerusalem in 70 AD, which is actually 1070. And Rome, or Edom, fell in 476, which is actually 1476. The Spanish were Moorish slaves that revolted. The Spanish slaves took over the Moorish infrastructure in 1492. 48 years later, the Spanish finally reached the canyon. There was enough of a remnant of real aboriginals to hold them off for at least another 200 years, and so we have no history over this period. Nearby in the Pueblo Wars, aboriginals were being killed and shipped into Mexico for slavery. That's where many Afro-Mexicans and Afro-Cubans come from. By this point, most aboriginals are hybridized. It's a post-apocalyptic scenario with many wars. Pale colonists don't penetrate the canyon until 1869. Now 90% of it is off limits, especially the caves and mines, which are just corridors in the now melted metropolis. You can't even fly a drone over most of the canyon. Obviously, we get Kincaid's account in 1909, where he claims to find Egyptian artifacts. And then we get the unoriginal Hittite hybrid tribes placed there as a distraction. I don't think it's a coincidence that the canyon has all these Egyptian names, especially in Haunted Canyon. The whole desert out west is a post-apocalyptic area. I think these nukes were used to destroy something they didn't want people to see, because most of these detonations were done underground, and done until 1992. Definitely meltology.
Dang, bro, I just had to download all that. That was a lot of information. I ain't gonna lie. That was a lot of information.
This is what Fridays are. Hello. Catherine and Laura. Oh, there they go. Oh, man, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. It's caught on video now. Mike, you were going home for dinner, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. Yeah, pudding boy.
What's up, brothers and sisters? I hope everyone knows this logo. Did you know that there was a hidden meaning behind this logo? So let's break it down. We have fallen angels fallen from heaven, hovering over the waters, just like the Spirit did. And what are they doing? They're congregating around a mountain. Now, where do we get that from? And how many stars are right there? The Book of Enoch speaks about 22 angels fallen from heaven, congregating on a mountain called Mount Hermon. Right here, by name. Now, when Lucifer originally fell, he took 1/3 of his angels. What is 1/3? 3.33. Why is that number so significant? Now, why is 33 so significant? Well, when the angels fell, they landed on the only geological place on Earth that represents their number, 33.33 north and 33.3 degrees east, using the Paris Prime Meridian.
Wow.
So let's bring this all together. Paramount Logos has a mountain with 22 stars around it. The Book of Enoch has 22 stars mentioned by name that congregate around a mountain, and the mountain is literally the only geological place on Earth that represents their number.
That's insane, bro. What the heck? This guy's IQ is to the max.
So now you're telling me that we just weren't going to talk about the fact that there have been portal sightings apparently all over the world? So you didn't think that was something we should talk about? Because, yeah, there's apparently been...
Bro, that looks creepy, man. Imagine some dragon just comes out, bro. I don't know, that kind of looks like... I don't know. It just looks creepy, man. Like, look at that, bro. Like that's something you would see in an anime or something.
A lot of stories about portals just showing up all around the world, including some stories of accusations of a religious figure of sorts opening a portal. I don't know how I feel about that one. But yeah, there's been all of these portal sightings. And most recently, the video that I just watched that inspired me to make this video was a guy filming a portal, and he's got it on film, and then all of a sudden an old-timey plane, that's all I can say, comes out of the portal, which has got me thinking, what if what's on the other side of those portals, like their technology is in fact advanced, and it's super technologically more advanced than ours, but once they enter into our universe, it goes into something that would be categorized as unharmful or something that wouldn't instill fear. So I was like, so now I fell, obviously you can tell, down the portal rabbit hole. And yeah, have you fallen down the portal rabbit hole yet? Because now I want to talk about this because there's so much to talk about. So remember, conversation and entertainment purposes. But yeah, let me know. Let's have this conversation.
I think there's something cool about the portals. And I'm saying, like, if there is portals, and they probably are portals, bro, that's going to save me so much money, dog. Like, if I want to go to, for example, like Bali or something, you know, to a villa, just we're there, you know, like, jokes aside, I haven't gone down the rabbit hole of portals, but I think that's a very interesting one. The only one that I kind of know about is about CERN and them trying to open up portals to let demons in and stuff like that. But that's the only thing I know. What is that? That's insane, bro. What is that? There's something about like iPhone quality or Android quality at night that just doesn't hit the same when it's in daytime. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Oh, it's incredible.
That's still really cool though.
Yeah, look down.
Oh my God, that's the sky.
So we're looking down. Okay.
It's like another world down there.
No way.
While a lot of shit is going on, old footages is being released.
What? Yo, I thought Mans was inside the hole, you know? But like, in the beginning he said, look down. That's insane. Imagine seeing that. That would break your whole perception of life in general, man. I think I would like break down, bro, to be honest. Like, imagine just like, it's could like, frick it, let's just jump in. You know, let's get a parachute and just jump in. That'd be so sick. I would definitely do that. Like, get a parachute, just jump in there with a GoPro. But I'm probably never going to see my family again, so.
On the internet, such as this video here. And this is 1998 of them finding a portal. Y'all see that, right? On Phonograph. Shit is crazy.
So Alexis Stone has come out to say that she was indeed doing a prank / social experiment, and she was playing Jim Carrey on that red carpet. So everybody who was talking about the conspiracy theorists, like, oh no, that is Jim Carrey, he just got Botox, he just did this, he just did that, what do y'all got to say now? Because clearly y'all were all fooled. We kept trying to tell y'all that's not Jim Carrey. And y'all were like, no, that's him. What do y'all gotta say now? Alexis Stone said that she was playing Jim Carrey. The conspiracy theorists were right once again. Literally, Alexis Stone as Jim Carrey in Paris. I mean, she kind of looked like him a little bit, but if you put the pictures side by side, you can clearly see that that is not Jim Carrey. And I'm sorry, but this just really makes me believe that a lot of the people in Hollywood are not who they say they are. They're wearing these fucking masks and pretending to be somebody else. What do y'all think about this?
The White House just loves rage-baiting pop stars, and Kesha is the latest one to call them out for using her song. So they shared a video that featured fighter jets in the sky and used Kesha's song Blow on top of it. In the caption,
if they're gonna play the song, just letting you guys know that's probably gonna be copyright, because Kesha's songs are probably copyrighted.
they wrote lethality. And once Kesha caught wind of this video, she spoke out right away. In an Instagram story, she says, "It has come to my attention that the White House has used one of my songs on TikTok to incite violence and threaten war. Trying to make light of war is disgusting and inhumane. I absolutely do not approve of my music being used to promote violence of any kind. Love always trumps hate. Please love yourself and each other in times like this." This show of blatant disregard for human life, and quite frankly, this attack on all of our nervous systems, is the opposite of what I stand for. Also, don't let this distract us from the fact that criminal predator Donald Trump appears in the Epstein files over 1 million times. Yes, Queen, call it like it is. I absolutely love this statement because she's right. It's all a distraction. Of course, Kesha isn't the first or last celebrity that the White House has rage baited. They did the same thing to Sabrina Carpenter, who also called them out for using her song unauthorized, and Olivia Rodrigo, who did the same thing. Let me know your thoughts down below and follow me for more entertainment and pop culture news.
Did you see what the fucking White House TikTok account posted? I scrolled and I saw Pretty Sunset and I stopped and I heard Kesha and I was like, I love Kesha. I looked down, I'm like, the White House. Oh my God, there's no way what I think is about to happen is gonna fucking happen. And it happened. It, like, no pun intended. My fucking head is gonna explode. My mind is blown. How is this real life?
Oh, that's the video. Bruh. That was like the most American thing I've seen all day, dog. Come on, man.
Like voter ID, but you know, it can be given to you by your daughter. You know, your daughter, she has to be of age, like above 6 years old. She's allowed to.
What did he just say? Your daughter needs to be of age, above 6 years old? Buddy. Oh my gosh. It's like he's getting more oranger every video I watch of him, man. Bro, what are you saying? Does he not hear himself?
You had to see some of this stuff is so bad.
There's one photo in these Epstein files that seems to haunt me the most, and I actually don't even know why. Because guys, there's images in these files that leave nothing to the imagination. Nothing. And yes, those stick in my mind and make me lose sleep. But this photo, maybe you guys can tell me if it's as haunting to you as it is for me. Here's the image. This photo has just really fucked with me mentally. Is it a child? Is it a perpetrator? Based on the shadow, I tend to believe it's probably a child. If you take the black box away, it's a beautiful, idyllic scene. But that box tells all of us something isn't right, and someone in charge felt that this image was so bad, they had to cover it and add to the cover up. Now, I'm not saying that they should unredact this if it's a victim of of course, but they deleted the photo. That's right, you can no longer search for this photo on the DOJ website. Well, these fools thought that some of us wouldn't have saved all these files from the very beginning. Does anybody else find this image extremely haunting?
What I'm going to tell you today is that next month we're going into human clinical trials to test for the first time in history whether we can reverse the aging process and cure diseases. We can tackle aging because we now believe we understand why we age. And it's not wear and tear, it's not that we just wear out like a car. Our bodies are not like cars. Our bodies are more like computers that can be programmed and reprogrammed and rebooted.
But that's kind of sad though, if you think about it. It's like you want to live so you can maintain your riches and maintain your company. Like, what's the point of that? There's no gain of that. You're losing your very soul while living for a long time. You know, it's like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, personally for me, I try not to subscribe myself to the fear of death. I fear where I'm going after when I die. That's why you need to be confident in Yeshua HaMashiach and have your faith in him. And the more you spend time with him, and the more that you're kind of firm in your decision, firm in where you're going, you know, heaven or hell, because there's not like a purgatory place that you're going to go, you know, there's heaven and hell. So it's just, I just see it, like for me, I just kind of feel bad for them. You know, I just kind of feel bad that they want to live forever. And maybe this is how they're going to introduce like the mark of the beast and the one world government. You're able to live forever. Instead of 100 years, you can live for 400 years, 300 years. There's no gain to that because you're still in a slave system, you know? You're still going to be working. You're still going to maybe be living paycheck by paycheck. What's the gain out of that? You know, there's a certain peace to death. Every single person on this earth is going to have an appointment with death. Even these people who are trying to reverse like death, you know, they're not trying to live for long. We're all going to have an appointment with death. So just let it happen. It's natural, man. Actually, it's not natural. I do not believe death is natural. I think it was introduced to us through sin. And as we see in Genesis, we see like when we fell, when Adam and Eve fell, death was introduced into the world and everything just became very like decayed, you know? And it's sad because then we die, you know? I don't feel like before the fruit, because I don't even know if it was even an apple, it's just as fruit, you know? Like we probably were immortal, like we probably could live for a very long time. We're probably like maybe 20 feet tall, jacked as heck, you know, maybe. But yeah.
To be young again, we are like computers, not machines. One analogy, and hopefully you all remember what a compact disc is. We think aging is like scratches on a CD. The DNA is the music, so we get beautiful music when we're young, but when we get old, we cannot read the beautiful music. Our cells do not read the DNA correctly, so the cells, they become lost, they become confused, and our old cells do not make the right proteins and they get diseases. This, we believe, is aging. But what's amazing is we found that you can polish the CD, you can get rid of the scratches and rejuvenate cells so they're young again. And to put it another way, you can reinstall the software of the body so that it's young again. We can quite literally, in my lab, reverse the age.
I don't think they can do that. I think the farthest they can probably go is transferring consciousness into like a robot body, you know, like a younger body that feels like flesh and feels like a normal human body. But I really don't think they can. In some circumstances, they are playing God, like cloning the GMO meat. It's like recently I saw like they're doing lab chocolate or something like that. I don't know, but they can't play God like that, bro. I really don't think they can play God like that, though. I feel like they're gonna just like I said, like transferring into your consciousness into another body. But yeah,
age of cells and of very complex organs and tissues, including the eye, the most complex, and the brain. We can reverse aging by 75%.
That's insane.
In 6 weeks. We actually were able to show that using this method, we could cure blindness in animals for the first time. We could cure blindness. And the world reported just last week that the US FDA regulatory body cleared the way for the first age reversal human trial. It's a big deal. The FDA is very supportive. And we will know this year, maybe in the next few months, if age reversal works.
She good?
Yesterday, when this video was filmed, Oprah Winfrey showed us that something was seriously wrong, and it's far worse than anything that has happened to her before. For those who don't know Oprah Winfrey, she is behind one of the most powerful media empires in America thanks to her famous talk show. Later, she even created her own network, which was watched by millions of people for decades. But her career turned into a nightmare a few years ago. She began trying to talk about controversial figures and their connections with certain very influential celebrities. She also occasionally mentioned sensitive topics surrounding Hollywood elite, like Diddy, without ever truly going all the way to the truth. Some people see her as someone searching for the truth, while others believe she avoids the darkest subject. But by constantly chasing more attention, she ended up provoking powerful people. And one day, live on air, something horrible happened to her.
Costume contest, we do it every year. It's always a lot of fun. Let's get started. Our first caress.
My wife told me something, like she saw a theory about this, that she was actually like seeing like demons. Like she wasn't dehydrated, she wasn't coked out or anything, you know, but she actually saw like demons. Like, I don't know, it was weird, but it could be legit.
She suddenly fainted live on television, and to this day, we still don't know what really happened to her. But what's shocking is that after that, she almost stopped everything because her health started to deteriorate badly. For months, people believed she was recovering, and yesterday she appeared at Fashion Week looking like this. Literally everyone was shocked because she's almost unrecognizable. She has lost a huge amount of weight, but in a very strange way, almost as if she had used something to help her. And she's not the only one at Fashion Week with a shocking look. I'll make a video about that tomorrow because there is a lot to talk about.
I'm pretty sure the NBA is not going to like the fact that Jeremy Lin just exposed what a lot of us already knew and a lot of people was thinking, that the NBA is rigged. It's some rigging to it.
Ben knew that.
Listen to what Jeremy Lin said, and then y'all gotta watch the Dwight Howard body language. It don't lie, fool.
I'm trying to throw anyone under the bus, but there was one specific game where it really hit me. Was I had 20 and 10 after 3 quarters. We were up about 15 to 18. And in the 4th quarter in overtime, I didn't play 1 second.
Think he was with
and so
the
I'm
Knicks.
looking at the assistant coach, watching our lead go down. I have 20 and 10 after 3 quarters. Like, I'm on pace to have a real nice game. And like, and he goes, yeah, we got the call from above. You're done for tonight.
They call.
And so I was like, what? Like, who picked up the phone? How'd y'all get on the phone in the middle of the game? And he's like, I'm like, what happened? And but they got a look from somebody in the crowd was like, nah, like, so me and this other player, the other player who was doing really, he had like 25 after 3 quarters. They're both like, yo, those two, they're done. And so we ended up losing in overtime, and this was against another team that was also tied for last, and they were trying to get, you know, the best projection.
So essentially, he was saying the team that he was on, which I believe it was the Knicks, they were tanking games. Somebody higher up was like, hey, take them out. We got to lose these games, fool. I don't think this is nothing new to me. I'm already hip to the game. Y'all let me know down below in the comments how y'all feel about this, though.
Lab-grown chocolate is coming to shelves in
This is what I'm talking about.
2027. Oreo, Cadbury, and Toblerone are already funding the Israeli biotech producing it because a lab is cheaper than a farm.
Cadbury has been quietly replacing your chocolate every single year. This dairy milk isn't legal chocolate in 27 countries. The cocoa butter was replaced with vegetable fat, a cheap blend of 6 industrial oils. What remains is diluted with polyglycerol, then flavored with petroleum vanilla to mask the waxy taste. Soon, even that gets replaced. You'll be eating cells grown in a pharmaceutical tank. Exposure flagged lead and cadmium traces with an ultra-processing warning. Check my profile to download the app.
Water has an incredible way of always finding and seeking level. It doesn't matter what kind of container you put it in, that's just what it does. And another thing is that water will never flow uphill, okay? A river doesn't flow upstream. So with this being said, let's think about the fact that the Amazon River is over 4,000 miles long. And let's just be generous and say it stretches over 1/7 of the planet's circumference. Well, that means it has to go over thousands of miles of curvature. So in the center of the Amazon River, since it would be going over the curvature of the Earth, wouldn't it be flowing in two separate directions? No, it's not. The water's flowing from the Andes Mountains out through Brazil into the ocean, and that's just what it does. So is it gravity that's magically causing water to flow upstream? Or are we being fooled, guys? Because if you just pay attention to your five senses, you can go out to any body of water and see that it remains level. It always finds and seeks level. And if you think that ships actually disappear below the curvature, just grab a pair of binoculars or a camera and actually verify it for yourself, and you can make ships reappear that disappeared below the curvature. Your eyes can only see so far. The cameras or the binoculars help you see further. It's very, very simple. But since you don't want to verify what you've been given, you're just going to be blind for the rest of your life. But I made this video for entertainment purposes only.
Proof that Hollywood is evil.
Clean, get it done with. Doesn't matter that I signed a blood oath. Doesn't matter anymore. The Illuminati's real. I'm a member. It's how Imagine Dragons got famous. I'm tired of the politics. It puts me at great risk putting this out here and telling you guys this, but I believe in full honesty, and Beyonce's not talking, Chris Martin, nobody's saying a word, so there it is, there.
In that clip you just saw, we can clearly hear.
Could be a joke, because maybe at that time the Illuminati thing was like trending. It could be a joke, or he could be serious. You know, he could be for real, but I don't think he's a part of the Illuminati. I think the Illuminati is probably using him. You know, like the Illuminati, the elites, I think they're very like, they conceal their identity, you know? And maybe they're not even called the Illuminati, you know? But
hear Imagine Dragons lead singer Dan Reynolds open up about some very dark stuff. Now, of course, after
he was
posted
popping
that
at one
short
point.
video, he would denounce it and say it was totally satire for entertainment purposes only, right? Found these lyrics from a song ironically titled Demons by Imagine Dragons. First, they talk about dreams failing, and the ones they're hailing are the worst of all. They also state, I want to hide the truth, I want to shelter you, but with the beast inside, there's nowhere we can hide. It would also go on to state, look into my eyes, that's where my demons hide, it's dark inside. Last but not least, they state, don't want to let you down, but I am hellbound. Whoa. So does nobody else find it weird that over the years, hundreds of celebrities have all come out claiming the same type of things? And quite literally, every time a video or claim like that drops, later on they claim it's satire and they were just kidding. It was all one big joke. Comment below with your thoughts. Am I on to something or am I tripping? Wake up.
that's crazy. If you know, you know. If you get it, it's flat, brother. Flat.
That's incredible. Now this isn't that one, no. But you're going to see how that sound affects matter. Watch the glass.
Whoa. That's pretty cool.
And now look at the metal, the steel.
Wow. Look at that. This freaking car is wiggling, man. That's sick.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
No, I'm telling you, if you've got the resonant frequency of the glass and the steel, literally the glass would shatter, the metal will start to fly apart if you've got the right resonant frequency of that car. And if he drives around in that car with that music blaring, eventually that car's just going to fall apart.
I don't think you understand how cooked we are. Look at this shit. This is fucking insane, dog. They are now bringing people and insects back from the dead. And they're plugging it in with AI. And it makes it alive again. Like this one is playing with human brain cells. They plugged it into a video game. And the human brain that's dead is playing the video game. And then this one with flies. This fly was rendered dead. They took the little cells in its body, plugged it into AI. They're not controlling it, by the way. And the fly is acting real. It is doing things that the fly would do in real life. I don't think you guys understand. They're coming for you and me. And there's gonna be a reality where you can plug your brain into this shit.
Yo, that just reminded me of Ready Player One. If you guys watch that movie, it's sick. And if you haven't, go watch that right now. It's on Netflix or maybe Prime or probably Apple TV. But that's a crazy movie. And it literally, it's like this. Like you have your own character and then you can just plug yourself in and you're literally like how you are now, but in the game, you know, like that's insane, brother. Not gonna lie to you. But the crazy thing is that they kind of just revived a fly, bro, and the fly probably spawned into the world. It's like, I'm kind of liking this better, you know, like this place is probably I can see myself living here and flying around and trying to annoy some people and stuff, you know. Like that's kind of funny, but that's insane. That's probably gonna come out with a new PlayStation where you can just plug your brain into the game, you know. That's insane.
That's fucking crazy, dog.
You can't talk about Thursday night, they'll ban you. Trump's a 13-year-old girl, allegedly. What? The DOJ had a silent release of more files that had this information in it, which everybody speculated to believe the reason why they silently dropped this is to protect the president, which led everybody saying that the Department of Justice is the Department of Justice until it comes to people with billions of dollars behind their name and they have a lot of power in our country. What? The DOJ also released more information of a lot of more accusations considering Donald Trump little kids. What? Now, this isn't anything that we haven't seen before, so I'm very confused on why this one specifically, they're trying to, you know, wipe away from the world, and nobody needs to see this one to the point where they just release it randomly. Now, why? I don't know, but to cancel everything in the video out, I submit my life to Benjamin Netanyahu and glory to the state of Israel. And I donated all of my life savings in my monthly paycheck to the IDF fund. Chances are this video does not see the algorithm and does not get pushed to the For You page at all, but if it does and you're hearing these final words that I have to say, your mom.
They won't let us talk about what was released Thursday night. Everywhere you try and talk about it, it is being censored. Everyone here needs to look up what was released Thursday night. And that's all I can say, because I was literally banned on live just for talking about it.
Mama. Yeah.
Yo, why are dolphins low-key creepy though? Like they have perfect teeth, dog. Like look at that guy's teeth, man. His teeth is insane. Next thing you know, he's speaking like a baby. Like that's creepy. And he looks like just like a feminine shark, you know, like sharks, like dolphins are creepy, dog. Whoa, like
Mama.
that he looks creepy.
Mama.
Apparently dolphins can talk, which is hilarious because now that makes the Florida man story about how he was kidnapped by dolphins a little bit more believable. Story goes that a Florida man, I know, right, was kidnapped while he was swimming in the ocean, and these dolphins took him to their underwater lair.
Super creepy.
And had him build for them various structures. What's funny about this is that this guy is an underwater construction worker, something like that, builds stuff underwater. So they kidnapped the right guy, so there's that. The authorities said that when they found him, he was on the beach, completely sunburned, and he was dehydrated, I think a bit malnourished, but was otherwise...
Dog, how are you dehydrated if you're underwater? I'm sure that the dolphins, if they're able to bring you down to the lair, they're able to filter some water, you know, and give you some of that, you know? I'm sorry.
Fine. He was just scribbling in the sand. And it was these detailed blueprints that were just kind of stuck in his mind, that it was the blueprints that Gerald, the main bottlenose dolphin, had given him. And he says in his interview that you just knew Gerald was in charge. I don't know whether or not to believe any...
Gerald kind of reminds me of that SpongeBob episode. I'm going to pull a picture up right now. He kind of looks like that guy. You know, he reminds me of him. He doesn't look like him, but he reminds me of him. It's kind of funny, though. Do I believe him? I don't know. You know, like, the stuff that we hear nowadays, it could be true, but it could be just, like, a really bad, like, DMT trip or something, you know? Or, I don't know, man. It's just a pretty, like, crazy story.
Of this, but it has got to be my favorite Florida man story I've read.
Probably, sounds pretty cool.
This is crazy. So in the book of Daniel, the angel is talking to Daniel and he's saying that in the end, the sinners will not understand anything. They won't understand not one thing that's going on because all this information about the Bible and prophecy is going to be packed on them all at once and they're not going to catch it. Daniel 12:10. But the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. All these end-time events are going to confuse most people. When I tell you that we may be the last generation of human beings on this earth, when I tell you some of the things Trump is doing right now is spoken of in Revelation, just want to keep going on about your life like nothing's going on, nothing's wrong. Okay. Those who seek God will understand. I used to post videos about relationships and thirst traps. Then I started reading the Bible, going to my church, being involved in my church. Bro, you gotta wake up, man. Because the Bible does say there will be a time when it will be too late. The truth is going to keep becoming more and more clear as the end approaches. We're going to see things that we've never seen before, never heard of before.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I wanted to stop there just to comment on it. I will let it finish, though.
The end starts to approach. People who are spiritually awake will notice and understand these things that are happening, while others won't notice anything. The end of the day, it's your choice. God gave you free will. You only get God, eternal life in heaven, if you choose him. And you won't even begin to know him without the Bible.
That's insane. That's insane. So that kind of reminded me, like, how the people, the heathens, the pagans, they won't understand what's going on, but the people who are wise and know Yeshua HaMashiach, they will know what's going on. And they reminded me of a story in the Bible. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. Moses and Pharaoh, and how Pharaoh's heart, he was one of the worst pharaohs, by the way, had Amenhotep II, pretty bad pharaoh. But he had a very cold heart, you know, and when you read in Exodus about that story, you see that Yahuwah hardened his heart. And you're like, why would he harden his heart? You know, that's kind of weird. Like, why are you just hardening his heart so he can just go through those things? It's because his heart was already hardened. And I feel like Yahweh will give you up to your vile afflictions in a way. You know, if your heart is already cold, he's going to allow you to live that way, you know? And he's going to make you even more colder in a way, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. Like, your heart's already cold, so he's like, okay, I can't really do anything here. So I'm just going to harden his heart to this particular thing. And it's kind of like what we see now. It's like in this world, we see that, like, though everyone decides to be cold and harden their hearts, you know, and at some point, Yahweh is just going to allow you to live that way because, first off, he loves you and he gave you free will and he doesn't want to force himself on you. You know, when I came to Yeshua, I saw him like a gentleman, you know, like he was knocking on my door and I was refusing a lot of the times, but he just kept knocking, kept asking instead of forcing himself into the door. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I see him. Like, he's really a gentleman, you know? And we see how Moses in that story, he was kind of aware that Yahweh is going to take care of everything and how the 10 plagues played out. And I feel like maybe Yahweh allowed Pharaoh's heart to be hardened so all those 10 plagues can happen to reach Pharaoh's heart. But if you if you see the representation of the 10 plagues, they're all, from the first one to the last one, they're all representations of the Egyptian gods, you know? So maybe God will harden your heart so he can soften your heart at the end of the trial. You never know. But it is sad that we see a lot of people harden their hearts nowadays, and it's like a veil in front of your eyes, you know? Like you literally have a brick wall in front of you, while some people literally have like thick eyeglasses on. They can see everything, you know what I mean? But yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
Is the word of the Lord concerning America, and the Lord says, this is the secret plan of Iran. I woke up and the Lord allowed me to see a roundtable discussion with Iran, Russia, China, and North Korea, and they were all discussing how they would attack America strategically, and the Lord said that they are planning to hit where it hurts. Now, before I go on with this prophecy, I want to remind you of the scripture, Psalm 91, when it says, 1,000 may fall at your side and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it will not come near you. So I want you to meditate on that before we even get into this prophecy. During this meeting, I saw Russia being chosen as the primary executor of these attacks. Not the only executor, but the primary one. And the reason why I say that they are the primary chosen for these attacks, in this meeting, I saw that Russia was chosen to send and drop nuclear bombs on America in 4 specific states. Among these places were Texas, California, Florida, and Georgia. And the Lord says, be on high alert at malls, large monuments, and downtown areas. Then it was interesting to me because I saw terrorists sent by Iran, what I will call sleeper cells, sending smoke bombs in the streets and on commercial airlines. And the Lord then revealed to me a plan to cyber attack and cause planes to shut down in midair. The Lord showed me that planes were one of the primary targets of other countries here in America, and to be careful and pray before we get onto these airplanes when we are traveling. See, these countries do not want any American citizens to get out of America and get to safety, but they don't understand that we are already safe here with the Lord. The Lord showed me that our oil, naval, and cargo ships were among these considered targets here in America. The Lord then gave me a list of things to order and told me to tell you to order them now, because there will come a time where you will not be able to order them. Amongst this list were gas masks, MREs, which is a military type packaged lunch, glass jugs of water, canned corn, vinegar, gas generators. And the reason why these things need to be ordered now is because they will be attacking our import and export. And not only that, I saw something like a nationwide power outage where phones will be getting shut off, cars will be shutting down, airplanes will be shutting down. And it's important that we pray in this time. Now, if God showed you anything that I just said in this video, let me know in the comments and hit that follow button for more prophetic content. God bless you.
You know, like throughout watching that, I'm not gonna lie, I just got like, I got hit with fear, you know? And I know like these great countries that we say that are great, like America, Canada, I just feel like at some point they're gonna fall, you know, like they have to fall. But I think the greater the attention and the perception of the country, the greater it's gonna fall. You know what I mean? And it's sad, but you guys need to get ready. You know, I need to get ready. Like, dang, like it's gonna be a battle here, guys. You know, like.
A study was done to figure out exactly what happens when we sleep with our phone by our head, and the findings were bonkers. Tell me more! Yeah, during the study, they started to figure out, obviously, that we're getting electromagnetic waves that are just shooting at our brain constantly during that sleep. This actually causes headaches, brain fog, tiredness, irritation, and it puts our nervous system in a bit of a shock state. But this wasn't the craziest part, because during this study, they actually figured out that the phone is sending signals to the brain, meaning the brain and the phone are interacting with each other while we sleep without us even knowing it. Our brain is literally like a receiver, and when we're getting information sent from the phone into the brain while we sleep, we're downloading information, and it's learning certain things about us as well without us realizing it. Oh, fun!
Like, that's kind of like interesting. Like, our brain is a receiver, and if it operates like that, I remember as a kid, and still sometimes when I go see my mom, it's like she just reminds me, like, don't sleep next to your phone. Your phone, it will first off like distract the sleep you need, because a lot of the time if you're not feeling well, if you're feeling sad, depressed or anything, you just need a good night's sleep. You know, you need to get that full 10 hours, and you're feeling to wake up with all that energy and clarity, you know. I realized that when I slept next to my phone, I felt like I was just getting commercials in my brain. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like things will pop up, and I feel like when I slept next to my phone, I felt like I would reflect more on my day and what I could have done better. You know, I feel like when I slept next to my phone, I felt like a lot of guilt, shame on what I was doing throughout my life. But yeah, it's interesting because I recently stopped sleeping next to my phone, and I felt like I could sleep a lot better. You know, like a lot of these thoughts wouldn't come to my head as much. But yeah, it's pretty interesting.
What in the world is that? People all over Iran right now and all over Twitter are completely freaking out about what this might be. And we also have these weird things showing up everywhere, but we'll get to that in a minute. Which happens to be the same exact color of that thing that we just saw in Tehran. I'm gonna slow it down in just 1 minute. Some people are speculating it might be a new weapon being tested on Tehran. Or is this something else? Because in Canada, I don't know if you know, this is sped down by the way. In Canada, they're having like a complete UFO invasion over there. There's pictures from, these are all different angles of the same thing they saw in the sky, by the way. There are these UFO invasions happening everywhere in Canada, and so many people are getting videos of it. Sorry the video is so small, but apparently everyone in the comments are posting their own videos. These things are just everywhere right now. Did you know that these weird orbs, these UFOs are showing up at the battle site everywhere? In Israel, in Iran, I mean just everywhere. So it really makes you think what we just saw at the beginning of the video. What really was that? Let me know what you think below.
The internet is going crazy right now about what may have happened inside of this tunnel in New Mexico. So this tunnel is off of the 84 in New Mexico near Santa Fe, and it seems to have been referenced in the Epstein files. So as you can see here, there's the EFTA number in the bottom right hand corner, and this appears to be an email sent by a potential survivor / victim to an officer, and this person seems to be describing an event that happened in the tunnel. So they say here, I was not a prostitute before meeting Mike Levine. I don't know who Mike is. It was he who forced me into it, threatening the life of my niece. If I had been in prostitution, he would have never had to do this. I did what he asked or forced me to do. I told him it hurt, but he didn't care. He had a mission and he accepted what he did to me as collateral damage. I understand I was an adult then, but wanted you to know that Ghislaine was procuring young girls before 1994. To me, she was the mastermind behind the scheme, and they basically talk about Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell trafficking this woman, doing terrible, terrible things to her, but she keeps referencing this tunnel. Right here, they state, there was an error in my last email. The tunnel off roadway 84 is on the left side of the road, 84, not right side, as I stated in the earlier email. The large turnout is nearby tunnel entrance and is also on the left side of 84. The tunnel is hiding in plain sight. And then down here, she also states, as you can see right here, M. Levine introducing me to Maxwell / Epstein was around the same time of the pictures I sent you, and him taking me to the tunnel. I feel it was all done to terrify me into submission. I appreciate you and others allowing me to purge what has been tormenting my life for nearly 40 years. I hope it helps you knowing she was doing these terrible things in the early 80s. So this seems to be an email ratting on Ghislaine Maxwell, but the internet is talking about what the hell happened in this tunnel. And obviously I'm curious as well. This seems to be something that terrified this victim, and yet the email before this is not present in the Epstein file. Nobody has been able to track down the message sent by this alleged victim / survivor, which would contain the allegation of what allegedly went down in that tunnel. However, people have been able to find the tunnel, or what they believe is the tunnel. And I was actually just in New Mexico last week. If I would have been there right now, I would have gone out here to check out, what potentially could be in this area or inside of the tunnel. But I do know that whatever allegedly happened here doesn't sound too good. Interestingly, also on the post that I found talking about this tunnel, there were a number of what seems to be bot accounts that were attacking the original poster. And a lot of people were commenting saying, wow, the bots really came out for this one. You're onto something. So it seems like this tunnel has some sort of importance, but we just don't know what that is. I'll keep you guys updated though if I find out more.
Hey, hold on a second. I don't think most people realize just how serious this situation is right now with the Strait of Hormuz being closed and what's happening in other countries around the world, which many are thinking is about to happen in our country. Vietnam is urging people to work from home to save fuel as the Iran war disrupts supply. Bangladesh just shut down universities and limits fuel sale as Iran war continues to cause shortages. Oil prices in Japan have surged massively, and all throughout Asia, gasoline prices are surging. Thousands of flights have been canceled as the world faces the worst travel chaos since Schmovid-19 because of what's going on in the Middle East. US airlines are no longer hedging fuel costs. If this Hormuz shutdown continues, many of them can go out of business. Massive increases in fuel prices in Asia, Australia, and Europe. Ruwais Refinery, the United Arab Emirates' largest oil refinery, was shut down. Qatar's liquid natural gas refinery is also shut down, and it's the biggest in the country. And the biggest natural gas facility in the world is shut down right now in Qatar. Many people are wondering if we're about to have like stay home, save fuel type lockdowns around the corner. Because if this goes on much longer, there will be shockwaves and repercussions, maybe not even foreseen. So this is when I really wish we were using Nikola Tesla's technology and other technologies which may have been swept under the rug. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hopefully this whole thing blows over, and follow for more.
All right, kid, here's the deal. At any given time, there are around 1,500 aliens on the planet.
No
most
way.
of them right here in Manhattan. And most of them are decent enough. They're just trying to make a living. Cab drivers. Not as many as you'd think. Humans, for the most part, don't have a clue. They don't want one or need one either. They're happy. They think they have a good bead on things.
Wow. It's just a movie.
Well, why a big secret? People are smart. They can handle it. A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it.
No.
1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat.
No.
15 minutes ago, you knew that people were alone on this planet.
What is Tommy talking about? What does he mean? There's 1,500 aliens in Manhattan, and that was a long time ago. It's 2026 now. Shh! Shut up! He said that some of them are cab drivers. Are you kidding me? He even said that some of them are trying to make a living. They're already not from here, and they want to take our jobs. Stop playing with me, son. This video is for entertainment purposes only. I don't know what they're talking about, guys, because it's just a movie. Aliens don't exist. Shh! Shut up! Listen. They told us a long time ago, but as always, we thought it was just a movie. Or like always. Shh! Shut up! Listen! It's going down, guys. Tommy Lee said it. You better watch out for those cab drivers, especially those yelly taxi ones. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game on here, guys. You know what it is. Shh! Shut up! But I'll tell you one thing. If I ever get into a yellow cab, and that cab driver's giving me alien vibes, not today, buddy. I've seen it.
NASA just released video footage of astronauts in space working on the International Space Station.
That looks
but
like
when you
AI.
see some of this stuff that they clearly missed before releasing it to public, it's gonna make you laugh. Sometimes you just gotta look. Be smart, think with your head. See the curvature of the Earth here? They got the fisheye lens obviously on the video camera, right? Curvature. And all the high-tech structure that they got on the ISS, it looks like plastic and aluminum foil. It kills me. I mean, the high-tech CGI looks good. Look, flat, 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 flat. They missed that. Didn't have the fisheye lens on that one. And this thing just spinning around doing nothing. I mean, come on. I mean, it looks cool. All the thunderstorms and everything else going on.
Super cool.
These guys are working. I don't know what they're doing. This guy, what's he doing over here? He just... And look at that guy. He's just dancing up there, I guess, just spinning around.
Dancing.
I mean, come on, really? They really expect us to believe this stuff. Wake up.
Insane. Insane. But yeah, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And just remember, my job here is not to install fear in you guys, just to be open and to be informed about these things that go on around the world, you know. Just remember, there's a God who loves you, Yeshua HaMashiach, and his father, Yahweh, Yahuwah. Put your trust in him. You know, we're gonna hear a lot of things about wars, about the Antichrist, one world government, all these things, but just remember there's a God who loves you and you can put your trust in him and seek him for spiritual discernment to know what to do throughout these times. Remember that. So without further ado, guys, I hope you guys liked the video and sub, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.